The Souls franchise is held in high regard by thousands of people around the world due to its expansive lore, its well-crafted semi-open world, its tight and responsive combat system, and, above all else, its brutal difficulty. And now From Software brings us Bloodborne. But how does the game hold up in the shadows of its predecessors? This franchise started off as From Software's saving grace with Demon Souls. Little did they know it would turn into the success of a lifetime. But today, we're going to focus on Bloodborne, and what have they really changed with this game. Bloodborne proves to be a fresh experience when put up against its three predecessors. That is primarily in part to the setting change. No longer are you fighting dragons in medieval castles, or traversing lava-filled keeps. Instead, it takes place in a Gothic Victorian Age city called Yharnam, as well as the surrounding areas. Bloodborne captures the essence of 3D Metroidvania better than any other game I have yet to play, with its spider web-like areas connecting to create a living, breathing Gothic world. Yharnam is the main city in Bloodborne, and it is plagued with a disease that causes its inhabitants to go crazy and grow elongated limbs, and even sometimes turn into the hideous monsters that they claim to hunt. These crazed people seem to think that you are a monster as they shout things like, "Back, you beast!" The city is also inhabited by citizens untouched by the disease, hiding in their homes. You can converse with these people, and in some cases help them with their troubles. No longer do enemies stand still and wait for you to walk by in order to attack. They will patrol the paths and corridors that you traverse, giving the game a lively feeling to it and constantly keeping you on guard. The enemies in this game are uniquely grotesque and horrifying. They range from crazed townspeople, to towering werewolves, to four-legged vampire-esque women with gigantic red sacks of blood attached to their stomach. The enemy design is unbelievably creative in the most sadistic way, especially in late game. This game is more horrifying than your average horror game simply by the enemy design. When you enter a boss room and it rears its ugly head, you can't help but want to run away out of sheer disgust and intimidation. While some of the bosses may tower dozens of feet over your head, they never felt unfair or cheap. Every time you died, it was your own fault. That is in part to the new combat system integrated into Bloodborne. You'll find a lack of shields in this game, and that's because you aren't meant to block enemy attacks. Instead, the idea is to constantly stay on your toes and dodge. But with all that added dodging, you'll find that your stamina bar goes down much slower in this game. Instead of shields, you'll have an assortment of firearms in your left hand, most of which will be used to stagger enemies as soon as they attack in order to get some extra damage in. Your primary weapon now has two separate forms. The first is a quick, agile attack, while the second sacrifices speed for some added damage. And switching between these two forms mid-combo keeps the combat flowing much smoother. The story of Bloodborne is a cruel and sadistic one, with subject matter on religion and abortion, which would turn most players away. But no matter how messed up the story gets, it always remains interesting. Each cutscene is another piece to the story that you must collect and put together for yourself, leaving you with a sense of accomplishment once you've figured it out. In Bloodborne, you will die. You will die a lot. But at no point in the entire game does it feel unfair. Every time you die, it is your fault alone, and it pushes you to become a better player. The idea behind its abundant difficulty is to persevere and conquer. That feeling of success when you finally beat a boss that has killed you 20 times is unmatched. With a new combat system and a new setting, as well as a few small tweaks to the overall formula, Bloodborne doesn't just live up to its predecessors, it surpasses them. The story and lore is more interesting than ever before, the enemies and bosses are well designed and scary creative, the level design is intricate and perfect for exploring. Bloodborne is a masterpiece, no matter what way you look at it. There's a world of lore and hidden secrets for me to explore, and I'm not letting one thing slip through my fingers. This is the best PlayStation 4 exclusive to date, and if you still have yet to buy one, Bloodborne is the perfect excuse to dish out the cash. Aside from some frame rate issues and long loading times, if this series hasn't caught your attention, Bloodborne is the perfect place to start. I'm 51 hours in, with no plans on stopping anytime soon.